Hey everyone, thank you for joining us again for another episode of Closing the First Deal. Today we have the honor of having Steven, who is a declarated veteran. He is a serial entrepreneur and he's also building his very own Lux Wellness, Live Lux Wellness. And we have him here today to be sharing his first deal and just giving us some insights on what was his experience, what inspired him, and what he's doing today. So with that being said, hey Stephen, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me. Just blessed to be here.
I love your shirt. Success is in your veins.
Yes.
I love that. Is that you guys' slogans?
Yes, that's our tagline, success is in your veins. It's a double entendre. We do the IV nutrition and stuff like that. So, and that's also a real belief that I personally live by. So, it just makes sense.
That does make sense. You are a go-getter, that's for sure. So, what inspired your journey, your real estate journey?
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
Yes.
So being of Haitian descent. I was, originally from Haiti, born and raised there for a while. And coming here, I saw what my aunts and my uncles were doing to like live and or survive. And I just knew that there was a lot more for me than that. And I wanted to be able to live my life on my own terms and be able to have enough money coming in every single month where I don't even have to, think about where my next paycheck is coming from, to get out of the rat race. So that was the initial inspiration. I was learning from the previous generation who, they worked their ass off. Like, I tip my hat to them, but they just didn't know any better, right? So I had to go figure it out, and I started paying attention to the people who do real estate, and it's like, wow, well, it has created the most first time millionaires, you know, ever, consistently year after year. So I started paying attention to the movers and the shakers, and then just started asking questions, and here we are.
Yeah, success leaves clues, that's for sure. So tell me, like, where did you decide to invest in your first property? What area did you go for?
Truth be told, I wasn't gonna purchase until I moved to Florida. So I moved back to Florida in 2020, right after, the whole CV-19 epidemic. And we moved into the house that we ended up buying. A buddy of
Mhm.
mine actually owned it. And he was like, hey, you guys can just stay here, rent it out. And then, like, 2 months later, he's like, hey, man, we're going to sell. I'm like, all right. I didn't really want to buy a single family as my
Yeah.
first property, but I was like, all right. I just took the leap of faith, and 2020 was a great year. So we ended up closing in 2020 in Florida.
Oh, that's nice. Florida's a good location. Hopefully, you guys didn't get affected by the weather too much. You guys are on the side
No,
that doesn't get hit as much. Thank
fingers were
goodness.
crossed,
I
and we're
know.
good. Yeah, you too. You're up in Destin, right?
I'm in Destin, so the weather didn't even touch us. It didn't. Everyone was calling, like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
outside running."
I'm running a marathon. What are you
I'm
talking
running
about?
a
Right?
marathon. Yes. So you closed on your first property. You mentioned it was a single family. Do you still currently own that single family?
No, I actually got out of it about 2 years ago. Um, we held it for a little bit, did some renovations. I probably put about 30K into it and updated everything, and then we ended up flipping it.
Oh,
So
nice. So is
yeah,
that what you used to open Live Lux Wellness? Congratulations on that.
yes.
That's super
So
dope.
thank you. That is, yeah, we use a lot of that to open this up, and we use that to kind of get more property, not kind of to get more properties, open this up, invest more into the dealership and stuff like that. So it was a very good flip.
Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it was. That's awesome
Yeah.
because I don't really know a lot of Black business owners who own a spa. So the fact that you own one is just amazing. I'm excited to see your journey, the way that it's been growing. So that's amazing. So what type of services do you guys offer?
So here at Live Lux, we focus on whole health, wellness, and we do a little touch of beauty. You know, we're vain. You know, people. Everyone's vain. Everyone wants to feel good, look good. So we focus on beauty from the inside out. So IV vitamin, nutrition, weight loss, stem cells. We do Botox injections. That's more on the beauty side. Some
Mhm.
facials, but mainly we're really pivoting more to really focus more on health and wellness and preventative health. That is.
Do you guys have like an Instagram page you guys would like to shout out?
Absolutely. On all platforms, you can follow us on Live Lux Wellness, LIVLUX Wellness.
Awesome, awesome. So what was the inspiration behind opening the wellness center?
Great question. So for me personally, it's when I transitioned out of the military, I dealt with, anxiety, depression, um, PTSD, all the above. And so the first time I discovered Drip Lounge, which was, I think, Liquid Vita at that time, I discovered them and I went and I got an IV just because I just needed a little boost and a pick me up. And after I tried it, it helped with everything, with getting more sleep, rest, energy, and vitality and anxiety. So I was deficient in a lot of those areas and I didn't know. So I did a blood panel. And after I did the blood panel, it just kind of showed me where I was deficient. And so after that, I was just sold. I was like, hey, like I need to own one of these because this is preventative maintenance versus ending up, in a doctor's office with, hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, which in our community, that's really what we deal with a lot. And most of that is based on nutrition and a lot of lack of education, I should say. So that's what first made me, stumble on the wellness space in this particular category.
That's awesome. You said a lot. And I think what I
Yeah.
took away from it is that you basically did a blood test that told you what vitamins you're deficient or nutrients you're deficient in, and that kind of helped you like figure out what type of IVs you needed. So is that something that you guys provide as well at the wellness center?
Yes. So
Awesome.
if someone were to walk in and say, hey, I am dealing with XYZ, first thing we would do is do a full blood panel. And that lets us know exactly it's a diagnostic, right? Like we would, go into a doctor's office and or a car mechanic, they'll do a full diagnostic and based off of what your body actually needs, then we would, give you whatever it is that you actually need to be more efficient. And if it's nutrition, then we'll give you the nutrition side. If it's just a IV, we'll give you the IV with the vitamins included.
Okay. So what's the location that this is located so people could go and check you guys out?
So we are in South Florida, 119 North Power Line Road in Deerfield. We are right next to Boca. If you're in South Florida, feel free to come check us out. We're on the borderline of Boca and Deerfield, 119 North Power Line Road.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. So like you guys basically started this from scratch. Like you bought the building,
Yeah,
purchased the location, building the name, like this is
the
awesome.
whole build out. Yeah, no, it's been a journey. sometimes, sometimes I'm like, why did I just take that money and just go buy more real estate? It's like, it's like it's like why? Like, really? Yeah, yeah. You genius. Go build out a whole wellness center. Why don't you? Yeah, good job,
Hey, that
buddy.
is crazy.
Yeah, but no,
So,
it's been a
so I
blessing.
think we kind of leaped ahead a bit in terms of your journey. I want to rewind just to see how you got to where you were, right? Because you mentioned just being stressed, not wanting to live in a situation you viewed your elders in, and then we jumped into the wellness spot. So walk us through that journey of how you started and how you got there. So what were some of the steps that you took after learning from the people in real estate?
So like I mentioned before, that first deal just kind of like landed on my lap. And for me, it wasn't at the forefront of what I wanted to do. I wanted to invest, and I knew about real estate, but I had tried a few things like wholesaling and stuff like that in the past, and I wasn't successful at it because it just wasn't my main thing. I didn't give it enough time, effort, and energy, right? But that journey really, it was just as simple as, hey, I'm gonna sell it. And I said, okay, great, I'll buy it. And then, we took the opportunity.
That's awesome.
So you said that it wasn't a strategy that you wanted to partake in, right? So
yeah,
I want to go also go back to the military. So did you purchase it after or prior to the military?
it was after.
Okay. So were there any steps that you've taken or vehicles you utilized provided by the military in order to either start your business or purchase your property?
To be honest with you, I was so like caught off guard when we were about to purchase that first property. I didn't even use my VA loan. So the second property, we ended up using the VA loan, but the first one I went conventional, and yeah, it was yeah.
You learned through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Total blonde moment.
But no,
yeah.
that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because if you use the conventional loan first, you still qualify for the VA loan.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not, so there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, exactly.
So what didn't you like about the first deal? And what would you do differently if you could go back to that time?
Great question. So I didn't like the fact that I wanted to do the 4-3-2-1 method when I go into real estate. So I wanted to be able to leverage that, to my advantage, but I didn't get the opportunity to. That's what I didn't like, because my first purchase was a single family. Hold on. I am so sorry.
Why did you want to go with a multi-family over a single family?
Hold on.
Let me pause really quick. For some reason, someone's trying to come inside. Hold on. Apologies.
No worries.
So going back, no problem. Going back to what you would have done differently.
So I would have definitely purchased a 4-unit first, refi out of it the second year, get a 3-unit refi out of it, and just continue to leverage FHA. And even for me now, I would have just continued to use the VA. I mean, the second property we bought was probably almost 3 times the amount of the first property, and I actually came out of pocket less than the first property. So the VA is definitely a great avenue.
Was it a different percentage, the VA versus the conventional loan that you had to put down?
Well, with the VA, it's 0% down. All you have to do is just cover closing costs. So, and you can refi out of it in 12 months. It's like a cheat code. You should know.
I know. I still put money down, so I wanted to see here what you.
Nah.
Thank you. I'm just trying to explain to folks, like, we don't have to live so difficult. Like, we don't have to bring on more than what's intended for us, right? So God has put these blessings, or the environment, the world has put these blessings in your life, and use them. I was just about to ask you, did you refinance out? What are your plans? It sounds like you're heading in the right direction. So what's going on?
So with the first one, we got rid of that. It was just opportunity and timing. And then the second one, I'm actually getting ready to refi out of it by the end of this year, so I can leverage that same VA loan again and just keep multiplying. Truth be told, that one is in like northwest of Palm Beach, pretty affluent area. So we leased it out, paying for itself. And then we moved closer to the wellness center, and that's covering it's the mortgage plus the new apartment that we just got. So we just downsized everything, and then now we're just resetting and doing the exact same thing again.
That's awesome.
So now it was just a numbers game. We did the calculations. It's gonna say it was close to six figures every single year between travel time, mortgage, and on top of that, we're living for free. So it's
Cheat
it was a
code.
no-brainer. Yeah, cheat code. Cheat code.
So do you
So
intend on purchasing additional property within the next year?
yeah, so right now I have one in Mass that I am finishing up. Once that's done, hopefully within the next month or two, then we are looking to, rinse, recycle, repeat. And that's why, I want to talk with Gavin about, that Connecticut market, and Ohio is another one I've been looking into as well. So, that right now I wanna go bigger, faster, but I'm trying to pace myself because I can get a little crazy. So.
I know you have so many businesses, and I'm just thinking, like, how do you manage it all? Like, so do you find partners? Because I know you also have like the car business, the car
Yeah.
dealership. You do this. So, like, what do you do? Do you find other investors to like partner with? And like, who is managing this car business? Where is it located again?
So the car business is in Margate,
Mhm.
about 15 minutes from the wellness center. So that one I am partnered up with two other people. So they help me manage some of the, back end stuff, some of the front end stuff as well. But that's located in Margate. That one, it's now just starting to pick back up. So I haven't really been marketing it or promoting it like I should, because I was going through a whole transition from the one that we had in Stoughton, because that was the first dealership I had. It was in Stoughton, Mass. I had to transition down here, the
Yeah.
politics, the city, the zoning, blah, 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 blah. So that took a couple of years to just kind of like get my feet back in the door. But
Hmm.
I was still flipping cars on the side. It was just under a different dealership.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
to answer your question, I have people who help me manage that, and then this one here, the wellness center, is with my wife. So when I'm not available, she holds it down. Shout out to her. This machine would not work without her. So
Shout out to
she,
the wife.
yeah, she's the cheat code. She's my circle square x squared R2 L2.
That's what's sad. That's what's sad. That is so awesome that you guys have created this like partnership where you guys could both count on each other and build this company that basically helping your wellness, helping you guys stay motivated, connected, working with each other. So you're spending quality
Mhm.
time, even if it is with work, stuff like that. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
I also
thank you.
wanted to touch upon like your military experience and like basically transitioning to back to civilian life, like what was your mentality that helped you persevere?
Um, Truth be told, it's just because I had nobody to fall back on. Um, all I had was me. I am the youngest of three, and I was the first one out of my family to come to the U.S. So, growing up with my aunts and my uncles and my cousins and bouncing from house to house, and just I am and always was my fallback. So no matter what was going on up here, I still had to get stuff done. Like, still had to get shit done on a daily basis. Whereas, most of the people who I know, if they can go try something, and if they fail, it's okay. They can go back to mom's house and dad's house. Like, nah, bruh.
Yeah.
I have none of that. So that's, I guess, yeah, that would have to be my biggest push. It's like I this generation is so soft that it sucks, but it's also great
Yeah.
because it's so easy to beat the competition. It's like, yeah, you're depressed, so what? I don't know how much I can cut, but You know, you're depressed. So what? You know, get up and get it done. You know, you're not feeling like it. Get up and get it done anyway. You know, you're stressed. Get up and get it done anyway. You have anxiety. Get up and get it done anyway. You know, because again, for me, I had no fallback. So that was my biggest drive.
So you basically use your pain as your motivation.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Uh, I am optimist, realist, cynic.
When one is when one is fearless, it's a lot easier to succeed when you know you don't have a safety net. There's no room for error. So it's
Right.
not like we're going to take risks that aren't calculated. That's just, it sounds like, you know, you, like myself and a lot of others, had a background where it's like, I only have myself. I can't lean or depend on anyone else because there is no one else. As a
There
matter
is
of
no
fact,
one.
I have to reach others. People are depending on me. So even going back to Holly's question, right? Because this is a little different in terms of our interviews, since you have different businesses. You close a number of first deals, right? How do you decide when you invest in real estate versus expanding on one of your franchises?
Truth be told, right now I'm pivoting because I'm ready to start my family and have kids. So the decision for me was always easy, just numbers wise. The wellness center is legacy. Real estate is long-term financial freedom. And the dealership, that's just like, hey, that's daily cash flow, right? So I always wanted to diversify like that. You know, I have stuff in stocks and the market and stuff like that, but I'm not really heavy into that part. But for me, the wellness center is like my gift back to humanity. Like I'm, you know, best-selling author, poet. I am huge on mental health awareness, especially for men, Black men. But the legacy part is the wellness center. And if it blows up to be, you know, $100 million company, great. If I'm able to help, you know, a few thousand people get rid of some health issues, whether it's diabetes, freaking high blood pressure, hypertension, whatever that is, you know, people struggling with PCOS, fibroids, all that, like just whole wellness, that's my gift back to humanity. And if I can make some money out of it, great. If I end up breaking even, hey, I'm glad that we did it. You know what I mean? But the real estate is the long-term play where, you know, when my kids come, we can be full-time, hands-on parents and be able to really enjoy, you know, raising our and growing our family. So I hope that answered the question.
It does. It definitely answers like what does generational wealth mean to you? I feel like you definitely answered that with your question. So like how did you even become a speaker? Like I have so many questions. There's so many avenues that I could ask.
So honestly, that was just I guess God's gift, really, because you've seen when I first started getting in front of rooms, I couldn't talk to, you know, two people sitting down to do a
You've always
presentation.
been confident, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you. I'll take it. But that was a lot of fronting. You know what I mean? That was a lot of fronting. I had to become that person. So I think it was just really me being good to people and doing good by people. And so when they invite me to a networking event and they hear some of my story and like, hey, would you be open to sharing some of your story? I'm like, sure, no problem. And little by little, you know, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you'll get what you want. You'll attract all the right people. And it's really just networking and getting into the right rooms. I am a huge fan of always networking, and you know, I give 100 times more than I ask.
Hmm.
So I'm always giving. I am huge believer in pouring out into people. So I think those dots always get connected in some way, shape, or form. God always has a way of connecting the dots. So I think it wasn't as intentional for the speaking stuff, it just kind of fell on my lap, and people respond well to the segments that I get, and then I get more opportunities. I actually have another opportunity in October 26th.
Yay. Where
You're
at?
more than welcome. We are going to be in Fort Lauderdale. I am actually the only male on the panel because it's an all women's conference. So there's going to
Yay.
focus on women's mental health, whole health, spiritual health, and everything in between. So you're more than welcome. October 26th.
October 26th, Women's Wellness. So when you look at your real estate deal, what do you look for? Oh my goodness, my computer.
Realistically, I look for the next 5 to 10 years, what it's going to look like. So I notice a lot of people do like emotional deals, and for me, I am always looking at cities plans. I'm looking at what the councils and committees are looking to invest in, what area they're looking to invest in. Like, for instance, before Worcester boomed, at that time I wasn't as liquid as I am now. I knew Worcester was about to happen because they were building that Red Sox museum, stadium, whatever they're doing out there. And it was only a matter of time because of the money that they were investing in that area to boost the economy out there. So, for instance, the property that I have in Belchertown is right next to Amherst. I didn't know where the freak Belchertown was, but the opportunity came across my lap, and I went, I checked it out. It just so happened that it was right in the middle of the city. It's mixed use, it's commercial / residential. And on top of that, it had an adjacent lot right next to it that we can build something else on. So I saw the area 10 minutes from Amherst, right off the highway, and I saw all the construction that was happening down that entire strip. Like that whole area, they're taking down all of the trees. There's a bunch of developers out there. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense because I was able to get into it for, I want to say 240. Right now, I can still flip it right now for like 400 or 500 easy.
Yeah.
So so when I looked at that, the person who wanted to dump it, they were focused on sober homes. So it was a great opportunity, and I took advantage. But before I purchased it, I went and checked out the area, and I saw that they were doing a lot of development, a lot of trees coming down, communities going up. So 5-10 years, it's gonna look crazy.
For sure. That's crazy. That's insane. So it's about being at the right place at the right time and being prepared, having the liquid to actually invest. So I
Yeah.
guess that's a note for everyone watching. Like, if you feel like you may not have enough money to invest, at least you can start by saving, getting your credit score up, and doing your due diligence until you're able to find an opportunity that's right for you.
And if I may add, no, go ahead, Gab, you got it. No, go ahead. You got it.
No, I'll add on after you say something because it's probably going to be nicer than what I have to say.
I was going to say that, like, for that one, that's why I believe in the power of networking, because the gentleman who was offloading it, we had enough rapport built where he connected me with his private lender and another gentleman who has a huge hard money firm. So that power of networking got my foot in the door where I didn't have to come out of pocket with the entire lump sum. Somebody else funded it and got the reconstruction money and everything tied up into the deal. So network, build rapport, build trust, and people will throw their money at you.
That's awesome. So like let's kind of dig into that. Like, how exactly does this work? Like, you find a hard money lender, they put their money up, but then how do they get paid if you haven't sold the property?
So there, I'll let you do your thing, Gavin. Go ahead.
Buddy.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last one.
All I said was monthly. That's
Yeah.
all. But this is about you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly what you just said. So, yeah, you're gonna have your monthly payments. Ideally, most hard money lenders don't want to be in the deal for more than 6 months max, right? So they'll charge you some points depending on how they have their points set up. You know, each point might be, 2.5, 2,500 or 3,000, like depending on how they structure theirs. But on average, each point's about 25 to 3,000, and they'll charge you X amount of points in the front and or X amount in the back, and you come up with a certain amount up front. It all depends on how you structure it, but they want to see that you have the capital to be able to do the deal. And more important, more important than anything else, they want to make sure that there's enough meat on the bone. So they're gonna evaluate the deal. They're not gonna just, throw the money at you like that. They're gonna evaluate the deal. They're gonna make sure that the numbers make sense. And if they have to foreclose on the deal, they're gonna take your property and they're gonna make their money back easily. So there has to be enough equity in the house for them to fund the deal.
That's good. That's good. I was always wondering, like, how are these people getting paid?
Oh no, they get paid. Like they're counting on you not being able to actually finish, especially as a new investor. Like they're counting on you not knowing what you're doing and fumbling that bag so they can come and take the property.
So one, first thing is you're putting down a hefty down payment unless
Exactly.
you're seasoned. You close 3 to 4 with that person or that company, they're not going to give you anything less than 20% down. And then as you develop your rapport, you can go down as far as like 10% on a one property. Once you get into commercial residential, it's always going to be 20 or 25 because a lot of times they're hoping that you can refinance out of the deal and that one of the major lending houses will take on that loan. So they are very diligent in how they go about approving you, or in addition to what he's saying, they're waiting for you to fail. So one of those traps is interest-only loans, interest-only payments. So for the first 6 months, what a lot of people do is only pay the interest on that. So they're paying 10% interest on that hard money, right? Not 10%. My apologies. That was when I took
I know what you meant though.
So you think about the mortgage rates when you see them on CNN, the ticker, or MSNBC or whatever, right? And the national mortgage rate is, like, say, 6.5. But then when people go to qualify, depending on what their credit score is, that is always going to jump up. And then depending on what your mortgage provider, what's doing in terms of taking advantage of your lack of knowledge, that interest rate is going to jump up even more because they get paid off of that. Now with hard money loans, how we started at 6.5, and then you end up paying a little more. Well, hard money lenders, they start off with adding 3% to that deal, to that number. So your 6.5 maybe turns into 9.5, and then they're taking that lack of business history, because you're only signing a commercial loan. You're not in your name with a hard money lender. So they want to see that you've been in business. They want to see that you're seasoned and that you know what you're doing. They bank on you failing because they get to foreclose the home and sell it for pennies on the dollar. They get to control that asset. But even if you succeed, then guess what? It's more money for them, because as soon as you refinance out of that, you get all of your money back if you're successful. Whose door are you knocking on for the next deal? That same individual. So quid pro quo, nothing wrong with it. Just have to know what you're getting yourself into, and you have to understand the game that you're in, because it's easy to fall into traps. A lot of people don't realize, hey, that interest-only loan, that might have been even less than what you end up paying on when you refinance the loan, right? So they think they're up. They can budget based off of what they've been paying monthly for the 6 months, but things always change because taxes, water bill, sewer bills go up every every year. So then naturally your mortgage payments go up as well. So that's an interesting to get into. I wanted to ask you about some other strategies you may employ. Do you become well versed on tax strategies? Do you have financial planners? Because you have different branches to your tree, and you really have to have an understanding of strategizing. So what do you do?
So right now I have a finance plan, I have an accountant, but I'm actually looking for a tax strategist who knows the game very well, because I don't feel like I am getting the best bang for my buck right now, to be honest. So I am open to having different conversations about tax strategies so we can maximize, everything that we are doing right now.
So from my experience with only real estate and paying CPAs, I realized that I was teaching the accountants more than what I thought they knew when it came to tax deduction, because I was constantly doing research, right? And a lot of times they don't focus on one thing. Like attorneys might specialize in something. I haven't found accountants that do the same. And if you ask them the questions, then of course they're going to say, yeah, I can do that. I know that as well. Of course, because then they're going to charge you $3,500 to $5,000, depending on how much your business does. And it's like, you're answering my questions. I wasn't answering yours. So who's going to tell you who? Now, because now you're going to take all of my Schedule E's and I'm talking to you about my strategies, all this game I'm giving you, you're about to go give your other clients. And then you're going to charge them more. So should I be charging you or should you be charging me, right? So when it comes to these accountants, you're probably better off with studying these codes on your own, so that you're better equipped when going to those meetings where they're charging you for your time anyway. Now you know specific questions you need to ask them. And when they say, oh, I have to look into that, then you know you probably made yourself some money.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, well, I'll probably talk to you about this offline, but I want to have a better understanding of cost segregation and stuff like that to be able to leverage that, because I don't really care for, you know what I'm saying, for those write-offs and depreciation and all that. Like, I'd rather invest that now. You know what I mean? So I'll talk to you about that offline.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think.
I don't know if Gavin said something. So what advice would you give your 15-year-old self?
Invest in real estate sooner. Invest in real estate sooner. That would be the one thing, but stay true to who you are. Stay true to who you are. Like, I remember having this conversation with Darnell, I think when we were like maybe 14, 15. And we were just sitting down, just like, hey, listen, I see what our parents are doing. Well, for me, my aunts, my uncles, I see what they're doing. And we just didn't want to go down that same path. And we was like, there has to be more to life than just working to live to die, right? You've heard, most people die at 25. They don't get buried until they're 78, because they stop going after what they want. It's just staying true to yourself, man. And if you have a vision, you have a goal, you have a dream, go after it. Like, I am a huge fan of fail forward fast. Like, if I line up all of the mistakes that I've made, most people would never want to go on the journey that I've been on. And I'm sure you and Gavin can attest to that, right? Like, the money that I've invested into myself, into courses, into mentors, into guidance, into conferences and books and books and books. There's this fail forward fast, stay true to who you are, and realistically, real estate, it's where it's at. Now, of course, there's plenty of ways to make money, but this has, till this day, still remain true that real estate creates more first-time millionaires than any other industry. So
That's good. That's true. So now, like, let's say to someone who's 25, 24 years old, just getting out of college, what would you tell that person? Would you give them the same advice or would you switch it up?
for somebody who's just getting out of college, I would definitely say stay with your parents as long as you can. And for me, what looked like a overnight success to a lot of people, it took me close to 10 years, right? So I wasn't out partying all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like even when we were building that network marketing company, like we had fun with each other, but it wasn't you didn't see me in no clubs like that. I'll go to a bar. That's where we're doing a presentation, right? Um, so just isolating yourself for a season. That's it. Like if you just graduated 24, 25, isolate yourself for a season. That's all it takes. A season of isolation and staying away from the mess. Work your job, your 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever it is. Do your 8 hours. And then after you do your 8 hours for your paycheck, go put in a few hours for yourself. So work your daytime job to pay the bills and stack money for your future investments. And then after hours, go work on yourself for your future long-term legacy or whatever else it is that you actually want to go build. So it burns the candle on both ends. While you have the energy, while you don't have the responsibility, no kids, family, and all that extra stuff, just focus on you. Burn the candle on both ends if you're in that age bracket, and stack your bets. Don't be in a hurry to move out of your mom's basement or whatever the case is. Don't listen to don't listen to this new society of whatever women's idealistic man should be by 30 years old. Like we're in a totally different economy. Like stack your bread and take that money and go invest it into whatever it is that you want to do. Whether if it's real estate, great. If it's building a new tech company, great. But at least have that.
That's good. That's good. It's definitely important. So basically, you're telling them to stay disciplined, stack up their bread, and get focused on a goal or get something that they're passionate about, something that they enjoy doing, and then focus all their attention on that. That is really awesome. So before we close out, is there any other questions you may have, Gavin?
Yeah, I do. I actually want to know what the goal is. I want you to reflect and consider what the biggest goal is that you have with yourself that you won't share with others because they might think you're crazy. What is it when you're on your way out? And if you've accomplished it, you would say, I would have never realized, I would have never thought I was able to get to this point, right? So where do you want to see yourself in 25 years? And make sure it sounds unreasonable. Make sure you're afraid of the goal.
So
probably a saying if you stay disciplined and worked around the clock.
for me to be like, believe it or not, just there's a preface to the answer. Because I've seen some money. I'm not the wealthiest person in the world, whatever, but I've seen some money and I've seen the impact that more money can have on more lives. So realistically, on my way out, to be able to say, hey, I have impacted, forget millions, like a billion people, right? I have done enough work. My life's work has had enough impact to be able to impact billions of people. Where it's like, no matter where you go, somebody can say, hey, Steve, because of this little piece of information here that you gave, my life is forever different. So my life's work would be global impact, where I can lay on my deathbed and I can be like, wow, okay, well done. And God can welcome me into the good old kingdom and say, well done, my good, faithful servant. All right. That's it. Impact. It's not anything material, like the houses, like cars, like nah. Like to be able to see the lives that I have changed on a global scale.
That's that's beautiful. And I know you could accomplish it. You just got to stay the course. I feel like anything you put your mind to, you've been able to accomplish it. It's just a matter of time. So you're
Yeah,
right on your way. Like determination, you're a go-getter. So it's just a matter of time. The pieces will fall into place, the puzzles, and it will just all come together to be a beautiful puzzle piece. So that's awesome.
absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you guys for creating this platform. And I know a bunch of people are going to get so much value from what you guys are doing. And just, please continue. And, I am grateful that, you guys thought of me to even come on here. And for anybody who wants to support, you can go pick up a copy of Impact Entrepreneur. It's on Amazon. And it's a co-authored book with a bunch of other entrepreneurs where my wife and I, let me see, I think I have a copy here. There we go. We are
And
featured in here as well. So feel free to go pick up a copy. And if you can connect with me on social media, Stevethelusma is my first name, last name. Give us a follow at livluxwellness. And any feedback, anybody who wants to ask any question, I'm an open book. Call or direct message me, DM me, and we'll stay connected.
thank you so much for coming on to our platform and supporting us with this our podcast. Like we super wholeheartedly appreciate your support, and we hope that everyone will go out and purchase the book. Follow you guys on Live Lux if we're ever in the area. Get some IV services, get that hydration going.
Hydration and nutrition, baby. We gotta live
Yeah.
my goal is to live to be 103 years old. So in order to do
Hey.
that, I gotta keep the
I
body
mean, you're
right.
Haitian and you on the side of the island. My aunt, real talk, lived to 102.
You
She
see?
died in
So
2020. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I didn't get to go visit, but she did that thing. She lived until 102. That's crazy. So you could do
hey,
it, we like cousins.
yeah.
It's
No,
a
that's dope.
fun. All
That's
right,
dope. I
so
appreciate you guys.
thank you.
Peace.
Peace. I just gotta figure out how to